Hi, you're welcome back to this video again. Thank you for all those that keep coming back. That's much appreciated. This is a continuation of the C# beginner series, and if you are new here, I will encourage you to subscribe as more content will be dropped from week to week, and I believe they will be beneficial to you if you want to continue on your path to C# or even algorithms. Now, in our previous video in this series, we did talk about inheritance, but in this video we'll be looking at polymorphism in C#. And so first off is I want us to break down what really is this big word that, as it seems, poly and morphism. What is polymorphism? So poly means many, while form, or rather morph, means forms. So it means that when we say poly and form, we are saying many forms. We are saying something that has different forms. It has various forms. It can take various shapes. So if you watch films, we are talking of maybe shapeshifters. It can be a goat this time around. It can be, movies and all of those fantasies. So basically, polymorphism is just saying that an item can take different forms. So in the context of C# now, it means allowing different objects to be treated the same way, meaning that one object can be represented in many ways, and this is only achievable because we have inheritance. So if you are not clear about what inheritance is, probably you didn't watch our last video, I do strongly encourage you to go back to that video again and watch what inheritance is. So inheritance is the foundation upon which polymorphism shines, and this is very important because it makes your code, makes you, the way you write your applications, it makes it more interactive, it makes it more readable, it makes it more easier to design and write applications. Now, this enables a class or an interface. We'll be talking about interface much later in the series, but it allows classes to be to represent different types of class. So for example, one class can be used to represent various classes or data types in C#. So let's just look at this with an example. So back to our previous example that we've been using, we had a house, and then within the house, the duplex inherits from the house, and then the skyscraper inherits from the duplex. So let me just make this simpler. Let me just make this house. So this will throw an error, so I'll just take this out. So this is what we have at this point. We have the house, we have the duplex, and we have the skyscraper, basically. Now, what this means is that, for example, I could come here and, for each, and I could say that for each, so for example, let me just, to be able to do this, let me create a list, for example, and I'll say a list of house, and let's just say houses, basically, and then I could just say houses dot, I want to add duplex. This object of duplex I've created, I want to add it, and I also want to add that of the skyscraper. Sorry, I want to add, houses, I want to add that of the skyscraper, skyscraper, and in fact, I want to even add that of the house. So I want to have, so here we see that I have the duplex, I have the skyscraper and house, and all of them, I can add all of them to the same list. And these are different types: house, duplex, skyscraper, all of them are of different types. But because they all inherit from the house base class, I could actually relate with all of them as though it is the same thing. When you are dealing with list, for example, you have to put the data type here. But because for example, all of these duplex, skyscraper, and the house, all of them can do what this class of a house can do, because they all inherit from what a house is. So if let me just clean this up, let me take this off, and let me take this off so that it will be nice and clean. So we see that we have our house object, we have our duplex object, and the skyscraper object. Now you see we have all of them in a list together. I'm relating with different things as though they were the same. That is why we say polymorphism. So for example, I could come here and I could say for each, and I could say maybe, let me say in houses, and I could just say the turn on, and you see I am turning on the light in all of them as though I had the implementation for each of them. So let me just make this clearer. So here I have lights in this place, and if I come here and we run this, if you come here and run this now, so as we can see here, we see that it shows light is on in this way. We see it showed 3 times, because for the 3 for the 3 objects that we have added to our list, each of them we are calling the turn on light. So to make this a little bit more visible, what we could do is, let me just do this, and let me just add number of lighting points. Let me just do this, and so I just do this. Don't worry, we'll look at all of these when we come in to talk about strings. So but for now, let's just have this in this way. So what I will do is, in the house, just to differentiate them, I'll say the house dot number of lighting. I will say just a house has 2 lighting points, and by default, so a duplex, let's say the number of lighting points in a duplex is 15, and then in a skyscraper, let's say the number of lighting points in a skyscraper is, let's say, 56, for example. So if I go ahead and run this application now, I will see that what we will see is that for each of them it will display appropriate. So you see it said light is in this way, 15, and 15 is for who? Is for the duplex, because the duplex was where I set it to 15, whereas for the skyscraper I set it to 56. And we see that all of them, although they are of different types, I can interact with all of them as though they were the same thing. So you see the house is taking different forms. It could take the form of a skyscraper, it could take the form of a duplex. Now, it is important to note that I cannot come here and now call a function that the house doesn't have access to. So for example, I can't come and say I want to jump. No, I can't. I don't have access to that. The house doesn't know about that. That is not within the purview of a house. It is just the duplex that knows about that, for example. So that is something we should note. So because they are inheriting, the duplex inherits from the house, I could do this. But also I could do, let's say I want to, if it is a duplex, I wanted to call jump. If it's a duplex, what is the name of the function now? Jump from the top floor. Let's say if it's a duplex, I wanted to perform that. So what we could just do is, I could say if H is duplex, and if it's a duplex, I want to say H jump, sorry, so we'll cast it. So we call this casting, that is converting from one form to another, where we talked about implicit and explicit conversion in C#. So this we can do an explicit conversion with this, because they inherit from each other. So I could say if it's a duplex, so I know it's a duplex, so basically I could just do this, and I could say, so this DD will be seen as a duplex now, because we are saying that since H is a duplex, then come inside it, and then here I can now say jump. Now this is possible. So if I run this now, we see that we have just one that we run this jump from top floor, because we only have one implementation that here that is of the top floor. Okay, and as we see here, we see jumping basically, which was the implementation of the duplex. So but if we come here now, let me just come here outside here and say that all of them should just, so that we could see. So if I say turn on the light, so we'll see here, let it come up again. So we see here jumping, and then after that, so you see this for the first item in the list is a duplex. So it say, is this a duplex? Yes, it's a duplex. So it casts it to a duplex, and then we can now call the jump from top function there. And then after that, we now turn on the light for the duplex. When we come to the skyscraper, this is not the H is no more a skyscraper at that time, and so it doesn't perform this jump function. And then we just turn on the light for the skyscraper and for the house. So this is polymorphism. Is a very powerful tool if you could utilize this, because it makes your code very dynamic. It removes rigidity from your code and allows you to be flexible in how you operate in C#. I hope that this was clear, and I hope that this was very explanatory. In case you do have any questions or you need clarifications, please drop it in the comment section, and you will find responses there from me. Thank you, and see you again.